This video has been longly overdue, and people have always been asking me to do this video, to talk about this video, talk about this topic, and I'm finally gonna do it. This is my story of how I came out. The thing is, about coming out is, I've never really came out. You feel? Because I feel like I don't need you to know that I'm gay for me to be gay, because I was always gay. I came out in the 7th grade. I knew I was gay since the 2nd grade. And I have had girlfriends in the past. But this is why. One, I've only had girlfriends in elementary school, and it was on a basis of that I did not know what a girlfriend was. One of my friends asked me to be her boyfriend, and I thought that meant I'm a boy and I'm a friend, so I'm gonna be her boyfriend. I thought it meant best friend, so I went along with it, and then she kissed me on the cheek, and I was like... It was like in the 2nd grade. But the thing is that I've always known, I've always felt like, okay, let me explain this to you. When you're gay, it's not like you wake up and you're like, oh my god, boys are life. No, it's a thing like I've never in my life experienced. I never looked at a girl the same way that guys would look at girls. Like, if you're a boy, straight male, and you're wondering how it is to be gay, think back to when you started developing feelings for girls. You can barely remember, right? It just kind of happened. That's kind of how it happened for me. Now, the main thing is what kind of throws me back and forth is that I'm also a Christian, and I take my Christianity very seriously. The thing about this is that when you're a gay Christian, you have so many more hardships because so many people try to bring you down, and I can't get angry at them. Because in the Bible, it does say that if a man shall lie with a man as he does with a woman, it is a sin. But after studying the Bible, I've realized that it never really said that a man can't have a monogamous relationship with another man as he does with a woman. That verse that everyone's always talking about, that's always trying to throw back and forth that homosexuality is a sin, is that if you have sex with a man as you have sex with a woman, it's a sin, which is true. I believe that if I give up my virginity before I'm married, then it's a sin. But the thing with sinning is, as a Christian, is that we all sin. It's inevitable, but that doesn't mean it's excusable. You feel, the thing with being a gay Christian is you're kind of isolated. Like when I go to church, I know people see me, they don't ask because they kind of don't want to know and they accept me, and I have such a loving family at my church. My church, I don't want anybody to think that my church is teaching me that gay is right, gay is wrong. My church is teaching me how to love yourself and how to love God. And I've never been happier since going to my church. The thing is, the reason is why I'm not saying that my church supports gay marriage, because they don't have picket protestings against gay marriage, and they're not volunteering for making a difference. They're just saying what's in the Bible, and that's true. And the thing is that it's very hard to be a gay Christian, because sometimes when you're at church and you just see people around you and you know that you can't be like them, and it hurts a lot. It hurts a lot. Growing up in this generation, I went to a very kind of, not like a good school, but it's not a bad school, but it wasn't a really good school. They would use the word gay as like a insult, and when people would say you're gay, and I see kids like getting upset saying I'm not gay, and they're not gay, and they're so upset about it, I was like, how am I supposed to feel about myself knowing that this is really me? Now, I'm pretty sure my whole family at this point knows, and if you don't know and they see this video, hello, surprised. But the thing is, when I came out in the 7th grade. But before I came out, I've had a very, very bad self-harm problem. The thing is with self-harm problems is that people only classify self-harm as cutting. Now, with me, I did physically cut myself a few times, and I'm able to talk about this now because since going to church I've been lifted from that burden. But I was very depressed in the 7th grade because it was a very hard time in my life. Like, my mom and my stepdad were getting into fights a lot, which they're not in now, thank God. They're very wonderful people, I'm not throwing them under the bus, but like, they were fighting a lot, and I was in my own room and I was going through my own finding of myself. I would cry, and I would have a rubber band against my arm, and every time I would think about a boy, I would snap it over and over again. And then it happened so much that I would be snapping this rubber band against my arm whenever I was sad, and I would wind up having bruises all up on my arms. And then the bruises, seeing them there, just kind of reminded me, when I was younger, I guess I thought that, like, you're nothing. I was beating myself up because I wasn't happy with who I was. And I remember the day the week on which I came out, I came out like on a Friday, and on the Monday, I decided I wanted to kill myself. I just have built up so much anger because there was a group of boys who pretended to be friends with me, and they said, "Oh, let's go hang out in the park." When I went there, they all screamed at me. They all called me like bad words, and they were going to beat me, but I ran away really quickly. If I might add, I ran away really fast, but it made me so ashamed of myself that I wanted to end it, because I was so used to the world telling me that you can't be this way, that if you're this way, God doesn't love you, and you're nothing. So I went into the shower that night, and I had gathered every single pill that I could find in the whole house, right? And then I was in the bathtub, and I was crying. I was really emotional. And then I said, because I've always grown up in a Catholic Christian household, so I was faithful, but not so much, because I didn't think that God would love me. And then I asked God, I said, "God, before I do this, I need to know if you really care about me. If I don't hear from you, then I'm going to kill myself, but please give me a sign that not to do this." And then in that moment, a good friend of mine, she's not my friend no more because of differences, but her name was Serena, she called me and asked me if I was okay because I wasn't replying to her text. And that's what my faith is built on, that God was willing to save me, even though I'm such a sin, you know, because I know now that I've never done anything bad. I've never harmed anyone physically or done any drugs, never like cursed out my parents, but he saved me. I wrote my dad a letter, because I couldn't speak to him because I wasn't speaking at the time because I was so sad. And I wrote to him, "Dad, I'm sorry to say this to you. I hope you still love me, but I'm gay." And I remember I broke down crying because I thought that he was going to kick me out or something bad was going to happen. And the best moment of my life was when my dad hugged me. He hugged me and said, "I love you." And the thing is, when you're gay, it's really it's really hard to love yourself. It's hard to accept yourself because you're so used to the world not accepting you. And to hear from my father that he loves me, it made me feel so stupid for even thinking of trying to end my life. And a couple of days after that, this is the funny story of how I came out, because it's a sad one, there's a funny one. So I already came out to my dad. Some people in school knew, people in school getting ideas. Then I told my mom, and the way I told my mom was I wrote her a note too. But I wrote her a note, and it was about a failed test grade. I was like, "Dear Mom, I want to be honest with you, so I'm just going to lay everything out on the line. I was like, I cheated on this test, got a 21 on it, and I forged your signature. And since I'm being honest, I wanted to tell you that I'm gay." It was a very childish thing, because I was a child, but it was a very childish thing to write to my mother to come out. But she too came in and hugged me, and then ever since then I've felt so entirely happy. And the thing is, I want to say with this is that I know this video is very risky because I have a very big role at my church. People may disapprove, people may not view me the same way, and if they don't, then I can't be mad at them, because how can I be mad at someone for expressing their views when I can't express my own? I am gay. I love Jesus, I am a Christian, I am human, and I am a boy. Those are facts. Like, if I would have ended my life that day, I would have missed so many opportunities. I wouldn't have performed at Paramore. I wouldn't have performed at my conference, my sold-out conference at church. I wouldn't have got noticed by so many brands and people who want me. I wouldn't have developed a fan base. And I wouldn't have made such the best friends I have in my school right now. And I'm really grateful. I remember a great man, Chris Danino, my guidance counselor. He made me so confident because he didn't judge me based on my sexuality. When I walked into his office every day, I went to his office every day, he didn't say, "Oh wow, you're handling your sexuality well." He doesn't see anything. He just sees me. He only saw me, and he was the first person in that whole school to ever see me, you know? And just know that if you're going through that, it's really hard. And just know that if you tell people who you really are, you're gonna lose some people. But wouldn't you rather lose some people than losing yourself by not telling anyone about you? I feel like I've gone through so many losses in my life that if I lose some more people for being who I am, then I don't mind. It's not that I never cared, it's just that sometimes people come and go. And I'm so grateful for everything I have. I'm so grateful that God has allowed me to become the person I've never thought I could become. And I want you to know that I completely believe in you. If you are coming out, or if you're gay and you know somebody who's gay or whatever, you need to help them. And if it's you who's coming out, I support you. I believe in you. And if you feel like no one loves you, you're wrong. I love you. There's many people out there who's gone through self-harm, who's tried to kill themselves, who've contemplating suicide and has been so depressed that they couldn't move every morning, and they stand tall. I wouldn't have gotten the chance to stand on a Good Morning America stage and perform in front of thousands of people if it wasn't for me being who I was. I wouldn't be able to be in such an amazing school performing with artists every single day if it wasn't for me being who I was. And I definitely would not be here if it wasn't for Jesus. And that's all I have to say. And if you're from my church, or if you're from my family, or if you're friends, or people who gonna view me differently, I would hope you wouldn't, because it's not like I'm a completely different person, because I've been out for a long time. So if you are gonna view me differently now that you know who I am, then that's on you. I don't want people in my life who are gonna judge me based on what goes on inside my head than what I express outside of my head. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry if I cried. I'm sorry if this made you sad, because I know when I see videos like this it makes me emotional, but it's just a video that needed to be done, a video that needed to be said, and yeah. Thanks for watching.